All right, so I have gotten an absolutely insane amount of questions about my custom pressure washer setup here, and I thought this would be a good opportunity to make a video not only talking about what is involved in this for the new subscribers of the channel, but also to talk about my 2-year review. Yeah, I've had this for 2 years already, and I use it pretty frequently to wash the cars. And I thought for the older subscribers of the channel, this is a good time to give my review, how it's been holding up over these last 2 years, as well as talk about everything that's involved in this build here, right down to the stainless steel couplings here, as well as price. What it will cost you to build something just like this. Let's jump into it. All right, guys, so we are gonna start at the very top and work our way down. So at the very top of this entire pressure washer setup is the star of the show. It is the AR Blue Clean 630 TSS Hot. Now, I know by now you guys are probably saying to yourselves, wow, that's a lot of acronyms, Justin. Well, it is, but here's what they stand for. So the AR Blue Clean is obviously the manufacturer of this particular pressure washer. The number 630 is just the model number, and then the TSS stands for Total Stop System, meaning that when your trigger is not pulled on your pressure washer gun, this unit will not continue to run. What does the hot part mean at the end? Well, pretty much exactly what you would expect. It can handle hot or cold water through the pump and still maintain its cool. Moving down the wall, we have, of course, the stainless steel shelf. Now, this one is actually made custom by a website that I will link in the description down below. It is a custom setup. It is a company that will make stainless steel shelves in pretty much any size you want. This particular one is 8 inches deep and 18 inches long, and that is an absolute perfect fit for the AR Blue Clean 630 TSS Hot. Moving down even further, we get into the blue hose reel. Now, this is a reel made by Cox Reels, and it is manually operated. So as you guys can see here, there is a handle that you will crank to wind up your hose reel, which of course we'll talk about the hose in a second, but the reel itself, Cox Reels, and it bolts directly to the wall. And in my case, this is drywall, so I use some toggle bolts, which really get it in there nicely. I've had a lot of questions in the past about how the toggle bolts hold up with this particular setup. This has been bolted to my wall for 2 years now with no issue. The biggest reason people ask that, though, is because this pressure washer up here is pretty heavy. It weighs about 56 pounds on top of that stainless steel shelf, and then the hose reel, when wound up, which adds another 50 pounds to it. All of which is absolutely fine with the toggle bolts. I have 2 bolts on this side, 2 bolts on that side, and then 4 bolts holding the hose reel to the wall. So if you want to bolt this to a drywall, you're absolutely fine as long as you use the correct toggle bolts. I will link those in the description down below. Now, since we mentioned the hose already, let's talk about it. This is an MTM hose. Of course, in this situation, it is the black hose. I preferred the black setup versus the blue that you'll see on other channels just because I really like the black approach here. I think all blue kind of takes away from the coloring or the color scheme of my garage. I liked the black kind of breaking up all of the blue. Now, before we go too much further, guys, I want to address the elephant in the room, and that, of course, is the fact that I did draw inspiration for this setup from the Obsessed Garage YouTube channel. But at the end of the day, while drawing inspiration from his setup, I did change the majority of the components here. So the only thing that we share between my build and his is this hose reel right here. Everything else is different. He has gone a different route with every other aspect of it. What I wanted to do is try to capture something that was more built for my particular garage setup, as well as something that wasn't gonna totally annihilate my bank account. Now, if you guys are familiar with his channel, you'll know his pressure washer alone is something like $1,800 or $2,000. This one here is $600. So that's kind of the approach I was taking to this, but we're gonna talk more about that in the future. I just wanted to let you guys know that yes, I did draw inspiration from the Obsessed Garage channel, but kind of put my own take on it. Now, the next thing we're going to talk about here, guys, is the connecting hose. So this hose that connects from the pressure washer to the hose reel. This is again made by MTM Hydro, of course. It has the very same kind of texture to it as the actual hose for the pressure washer does. So it matches really nicely and has a swivel on this end as well as a screw on this end to allow it to fully integrate with this particular pressure washer. Now, why you want this end to swivel is because this does move, and as the hose gets wound up, this will move. So you'll have a swivel at this end, and on this end we'll have a stainless steel quick connect. As you can see, I have some wire or cord management here that leaves it really nice and tidy while not having a bunch of cords just hanging around. The biggest thing to note here is that the cord of this pressure washer does exit on the right side. I run it behind the pressure washer and then form an S drip loop. So if any water were to get on this, it would hit right here and drip off versus following all the way to the outlet. Now this particular pressure washer comes with a 50-foot power cable. What I did was actually turn this plug over, and on the back there's 4 screws where you can then cut the cord and re-splice it into the back side and then put your screws back in to allow you to make this cord as long as you would like, or in this case, as short as you would like. Now, one other thing to note about this pressure washer is the fact it is going to take over 15 amps to run. What that means for you is you better have a 20 amp wall outlet. I did not. I actually had to have this added in so the pressure washer would function without issue. Now, the time that it hits the highest amperage is when you're doing any kind of foam cannon or snow foam on your car. So if you like to lube it up and get it real soapy, this is the unit for you for sure. But at the same time, you are definitely going to need that 20 amp wall outlet. If you guys are interested, of course, this little addition right here is just the Google Home for the garage. So nothing major there, but if you're interested, that little cup that holds it is actually built into the faceplate. I'll link that in the description, as well as everything else we're talking about here. Now, the next thing we're going to talk about, of course, is the hose that connects the water. So this is the water supply hose, and as you can see, it runs over here and then straight down my wall and ultimately connects to the No Spots Pro, which we'll talk about later in the video. But this particular hose is actually for a washing machine setup. But I bought this specifically in my case because of the right angle that allows it to come out, go over to the right, and immediately run down that wall. This whole thing was built to be functional, but also beautiful, and it really does do both things in my opinion. So I really wanted this to be real nice and tidy against the wall, and this of course served that purpose, even though it's not necessarily specifically for a pressure washer. Now, connecting both the supply line and the exit line, of course, is a stainless steel MTM Hydro Quick Connect, which will allow me to disconnect and remove the pressure washer off that shelf at any moment if I ever had to. So the big thing to remember with these particular pressure washers is the motor is entirely made of brass. So that means there is oil inside of that unit, and that oil does need changed from time to time. So if you ever need to take that unit off the wall, which obviously you will to change the oil in it, those quick connects are easily removed. How easily, you ask? Well, how about that easily? Yeah, very easily removed, very easily added back on, just like that. Extremely simple, extremely high quality, because all of these, and you can actually see on here, the MTM Hydro writing, are super high quality. These are all stainless steel with stainless steel ball bearings and everything in there. The only thing that would ever need replaced is the rubber on the inside that will eventually deteriorate. Now, the same thing for the supply line down below. It is a different kind of quick connect, but it is still the exact same function. You can just grab it, pull the collar back, and remove it off just like we did on the top. Because I do actually use this unit, there's likely to be some water in there, but nonetheless, it is the exact same thing. We'll just grab, pull the collar back, and then of course remove it right off. So just like that. And as you can see, these connections have been in place for about 2 years. And other than a little bit of mildew from the water, those stainless steel connections are totally unfazed. They are not rusting, they're not corroding, nothing bad to report there. And just like that, that simple, it's back on. For those of you wondering what this particular little knob is up here at the top, you can actually turn that to adjust the pressure of the unit. I have mine set right around 1100 PSI, which is pretty much perfect for washing a car. You don't need 5000 PSI to wash a car, and in fact, you don't want that. It could potentially damage your paint if you do that. So this is pretty much the perfect setup. Coming further down the setup, we have, of course, the hose bib. This is actually a shark bite hose bib, and it's one of the best ones that I could find on the market for my use situation. So on the other side of this wall is my laundry room. There is a pipe back there that we had to tap into, but this one was super easy to install, and it gave a really nice tactile / leak-free connection whenever you turn that on or off. Now, right below that, we do have a Y that allows me to, again, turn on or off the water to either side of that Y. Moving a little bit further down, you're going to see the right side that leads to the actual water supply for my No Spots Pro tank. This is a deionization tank that will, of course, allow you to do a no spot final rinse. So this is the supply line leading to my No Spots Pro, which then gets filtered and then runs back up to here. And this line here runs up to the pressure washer. Again, all connected with stainless steel fittings for quick connect purposes, because eventually the deionization filter here is going to need replaced, and when it does, I don't want to mess with unscrewing a bunch of things versus just quick disconnecting. On the left hand side, we have, of course, what I would call a bucket filler option. This is again a line for a washing machine, but it was perfect length and it holds that right up off the floor enough that I could get my bucket underneath there and fill it up. This is one of my favorite nozzles for a garden hose. It really works well and it's very easy to control so water doesn't go spraying everywhere. Now moving down to the final stop here is the No Spots Pro. As you can see, it says auto, truck, and bike. The no drying, spot-free rinse. Now guys, the No Spot Pro has been something that's been on my channel for quite some time. I love it because I own black cars, and when you own a black car and you're washing it, even if you do everything perfectly, you might still end up with a water spot here or there. That's where this guy comes in. This is one of the best deionization systems I've seen out there. The tank is super well built. The material that goes inside of it you can buy from the website separately from the tank, so you can always have new resin inside that will make sure that your washes are continuing to be no spot. All right, so that is pretty much the rundown. A lot of you guys had questions about what this particular unit is. I had a lot of people guess that it was some sort of air compressor. It's actually a pressure washer. So starting at the top, like I said, AR Blue Clean pressure washer, Cox reels, hose reel, some washing machine lines, and then of course the No Spots Pro at the bottom. That's the ultimate breakdown of what we're looking at here. Now the pressure washer at the top, it is the 630 TSS Hot. Like I said, you can get those for between $600 and $700 on Amazon. Check out the link in the description below if you're interested. It is an all brass motor, meaning you are basically never going to have to replace this. For you or me being the weekend warriors, I use this thing between once and twice a week and I have not had any issues whatsoever with it, and that is now going on to almost 3 years. The Cox reels down below it is relatively expensive for just being a hose reel, and it is one of the better ones as far as the crank system is concerned. It's not an automatic reel up system. I haven't found any of those that are actually any good. This was the best option I could find. And then the hose itself, I believe, was also right around $130 additionally from MTM Hydro. The big thing you want to keep in mind with these particular hoses is they have to be able to withstand the pressure from the pressure washer or else they're going to burst. MTM Hydro really knows their stuff when it comes down to pressure washing setups, so you want to stick with a lot of their stuff. The stainless steel shelf that the entire unit sits on was around $100, and it is fully stainless steel, so you can ensure that it is made quality as well. The MTM jumper hose, which is the hose that goes from the pressure washer to the Cox reels, was about $25. The washing machine hose that goes from the pressure washer to the No Spots Pro was about 30 bucks on Amazon, and it came with that hose as well as the other hose that connects from the spigot to the No Spot Pro right here. So both of those hoses came together for about $35. The hose on the left here for the bucket fill was purchased separately on Amazon. It was around $15. The nozzle for the bucket fill option right there was an additional $25. The No Spots Pro was fairly expensive. It was around $280 for the bigger tank that you see here. And then if you needed to also get the spigot here, this was something I purchased at Home Depot. It was only like 15 bucks. Like I said, I cut the cord here. It doesn't come that length, but that's free as long as you're able to do that yourself. And then of course, a handful of stainless steel quick connects like this that we showed in the video. Again, MTM Hydro, super high quality stuff. All of these you would factor in probably another $100 or $200 because these are not super cheap, but they are built to last. Like I said, there's a rubber washer that will go in the back here. That's really all you'll ever need to replace. These things, being stainless steel, will last for pretty much forever. So again, guys, everything will be linked in the description down below. I have had this unit, like I said, for about 2 years, going on 3 now. Yeah, I have not had any issues with any of the components that you see here. I haven't even had to replace any rubber washers in the quick connects. None of them have leaked yet. So I don't really see any reason why any of this is going to change anytime soon. If I had to guess, I will be between 5 to 10 years on this before I'm replacing any washers or O-rings. And even then, I'll have maybe $10 in maintenance and a little bit of my time. Other than that, this thing has been absolutely rock solid. So guys, that's it. Hopefully this kind of helped you figure out what this thing is. I know a lot of you guys have been asking me in my videos, what is that? And like I said, a lot of you thought it was a compressor of some kind, but given that it is a pressure washer, you guys, I keep my cars clean as often as I possibly can, and this helps out tremendously. Of course, there is more to this setup than just what you see here. I also have a pressure washer gun and attachments for that as well. If that's something you would like to see, let me know in the comment section down below, and we'll do another video talking all about the additional equipment as well. But if you're interested in setting anything like this up, check out the description down below. I'll have all this stuff linked. Smash the thumbs up button if you like the content, and I will catch you guys in the next upload.